Nasdaq market is in the red. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. Hope that you're all having an amazing Sunday. For those that are unaware, check this out. This is the Nasdaq future, and it is currently down 1.6% from where we were on Friday. So this is not just it's just where it was on Friday. No, we've sold off an additional 1.6%, which means that the triple leveraged ETFs such as SQQQ. I was trading this on Friday myself. I held a smaller portion of my position. I really reduced my position size, but I made $53,000. It was my biggest day shorting the Nasdaq market. A $53,000 gain on a day is not an average day for me. It's again for shorting the Nasdaq market. It was my biggest day. This means that SQQQ would be up over 4.5% if the market were to open right now. That means that TQQQ would be down 4.5% if the market were to open right now. So a pretty significant drop, and the futures market literally just opened not that long ago. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Some of the stocks that we're going to be breaking down today, for those that are a little bit newer to the overall kind of just like structure on how we do things here. All you literally have to do is, if you want me to break down a stock, is drop a thumbs up on this live stream, and then also comment in the live chat what you would like me to break down. Just share the ticker symbol. So if you want me to break down Apple, share AAPL, right? Very simple. I hope that you learned something new in this video. And if you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. So CPI data is next month. That is correct. We also have a pretty hefty interest rate hike coming up based off of Jerome Powell's expectation and meeting that we had on Friday. So very excited to follow up to see where the market actually ends up going. So are you going to be buying SQQQ pre-market? That's a really good question. So one of the things that I've talked about so many times before is I actually want to get a show of hands. What if you guys have ever been in this position? I'm already in SQQQ, right? I went from, I think it was like a 13,000 share position size, and I reduced it to 4,000. So just like I said in my live trading session, I'm not going to hold $500,000 worth of SQQQ. It's just too risky. Markets tend to be more bullish than they are bearish. But obviously, there was a lot of selling pressure on Friday. I thought that the selling pressure could continue into Monday. So I held 4,000 shares. If you're part of my Learn Plan Profit group, you hear me talk about this all the time. It's all about position size. Now, what I'm going to be doing is during the pre-market session, first off, you guys should all be aware that you guys can all pretty much trade pre-market hours. And that's 2.5 hours before the market actually opens. Now, the only reason I would buy more of SQQQ is if we're actually showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. How many times have we purchased a stock because it opened up in the green, 5 or 10%? But just because something opens up 5 or 10%, it doesn't mean that it's going to continue to rally. If anything, it runs a bigger risk of potentially pulling back if that momentum does not continue. And that's something that, you will understand over time, that just because something opens up in the green never means that you should just buy more of it if direction and momentum are not in your favor. So that's going to be the question that I'm going to begin to ask myself, because I know I've put myself in very bad positions because I just buy because it's in the green, and then it begins to retrace, and then I just end up giving back all the profits that I already made. So I just want to make sure you guys understand my intention to make sure that, anytime that you're put in a very similar challenge, that you ask yourself that simple question of, is this still indicating signs of an uptrend, or has it peaked and then now it's going to be retracing? So, let me go ahead and then start breaking this down. So I am fully invested I have no more money to invest. I'm not fully invested. So I just talked about that I reduced my position size from 12,000 shares, 12 or 13,000 shares, all the way down to 4,000 shares. So I cut my position in, fourths, right? And I'm okay with that. I knew that if the market continued to run or sell off, that I could miss out a good chunk of that, but I'm okay, right? I would rather manage my position size and manage my risk rather than putting myself in an unfortunate position and potentially giving back all the profits that I made on Friday, right? Friday again was it. Like, I got so many messages from a lot of you guys on Discord. I got so many messages from you guys on YouTube and from Instagram. It was an amazing day on Friday for myself and for a lot of our Learn Plan Profit members. But I never like to rub it in, right? I know that first off, we're never here to pretend like we're perfect. We make mistakes all the time. And I know that if I'm ever on the wrong side of a trade, I don't want to ever be made to feel little. So one of the things that I talked about was, a lot of the opportunities that I could have done better on Friday. I still wanted to, still celebrate in some form of way, but I'm never here to rub it in. I just like to explain the idea of why I thought the market could continue to sell off. So again, anytime that you guys have any questions, regardless if you're going with the market or against it, I hope that you know that if you ever have any questions, feel free to message me via Discord, and that's that first link down below. So let's go ahead and see what we got going on. So what stocks are we breaking down? Facts, Ricky. I appreciate that, Hercules. So let's go ahead and break some of these down. Let's go ahead and start off with SBUX. Let's break it down. So SBUX, one of the things you must understand is if the market begins to sell off, just like it is right now, right? So if the market continues to sell off the way that it is doing right now, everything's going to drop. So we are testing the EMA support on Starbucks. What do you think is going to happen on the day chart if we break below the EMA, just like we have before? If we begin to trade below the EMA, what do you think is going to happen? It makes sense on why this thing could begin to retrace back to $75 or $76 a share. So please just be very careful. There's a lot of selling pressure right now. There's a lot of fear being injected into the market. You shouldn't need to be scared, but again, you don't need to be very aggressive. You can decide to buy in a healthy way. I think when the market is selling off, it's a great time for long-term investors to dollar cost average into great quality companies, right? This doesn't mean that you need to be buying meme stocks or penny stocks and expect those to grow with the market. But again, it's a great opportunity for those that intend to buy and hold for a long period of time. Starbucks can be considered a buy and hold, right? Where if you see this thing begin to retrace and it gets back to that $75 price point, you see long-term potential on Starbucks to get back to $100 a share. Then again, formulate that plan, right? I just think that with how things are looking right now, and the Nasdaq market is down 1.6% during after market hours. You just need to make sure that you are aware that things can get worse before they get better. And I want to make sure that you take that into consideration before you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. So I appreciate you asking me to break down Starbucks. I would allow this thing to sell off. Let the sucker bleed, right? Let it sell off. Once it begins to establish a support level, then again, you can decide at that time of like, hey, does it actually make sense to buy and invest into Starbucks at this specific level? So, so will the new law in California about no more selling gas cars by 2035 help Tesla in the moving? I heard about that. I mean, is that a law that has been passed? I knew that was something that they were trying to put into effect. California, and I'm from California, but I live in Arizona now. It's so mind-boggling to see some of the laws that they try to pass in those California has a huge economy, right, as a whole. I think it's one of the top 10 in the world, California itself, with how much money that city or that state produces. So it has a lot of power, and I think it sometimes gets, I don't know. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what policies they put in place. But yeah, something that we'll have to follow up with. All right. Let's see what we got going on. Alrighty. So we got, let's do Mara. So, okay. I'm not a big fan of these. I thought that this is the one that, yeah. So to me, this is a BS company. It did really well during that whole, if I'm not mistaken, vaccine movement, and shot up to highs of $83. It's been selling off ever since. It's been making lower highs, lower lows. I think it's very easy to understand when direction is not in your favor and when something continues to sell off. It has these little short-lived rallies, but every time that it rallies, it gets rejected and it sells right back off. I think that this thing is heading for new lows, and eventually it will get delisted from the market. If you're a beginner, I would just tell you to ask yourself, long term, does this actually look like something that will make you money? No. I mean, there's no indication of that. If anything, it's losing you money, right? You're saving money by not investing in something like this. Direction is not in your favor. It continues to make lower highs and lower lows. And even just look into the fundamentals, I'm sure those are just as lousy as well. So please make sure that you take that into consideration. Alrighty. So for anyone that's funny, for anyone wondering about the stock market tomorrow, long story short, it's going to be down. Yeah, but that shouldn't scare people. I feel like some people right now that are sharing their stocks, I feel like that you guys are not being as active as you normally are, and there's just as many of you guys in this live. Would you guys like me to talk about, how we can either make money when the market sells off? Is that something that you think that we would be more of value right now as the market is selling off? I'd love to do so. I want to be a value for you guys, right? But I feel like some of you guys are a little shy right now. Maybe the market kind of scared you, right? The market sold off more than expected. I don't want you to be scared, right? I want you to understand what is going on, and I hope that you understand that. So Carvana is actually a company that's based out of Arizona. It's insane to see that it had such a high valuation, back in 2021. They were killing the used car market. They were number one, right, in the entire United States. And just seeing this absolute shift of lower highs and lower lows. And as of right now, this one would almost be the way that I would view Carvana at this current price point is, first off, it could continue to sell off. It previously hit lows of $19. So please never underestimate a stock and thinking that, well, it's cheap. One thing that you will learn is that the cheap can always get cheaper. So please make sure that you understand that. The second thing is the way that I view Carvana based off of its current price point and what it was valued at before is that, this is going to be a stock that if it does make it out of this rut, it's going to be like a Hail Mary type of approach. I do not see much potential with it as of right now. It's just a struggling stock to say the least, right? I would set an alert if this thing begins to indicate signs of recovery. There's so much upside margin that you can always revisit it. You don't always have to buy the dip at the lowest price point and hope that it plays out according to plan. Why not just set your alert, and if this thing actually begins to trade above the EMA and make higher highs or trade above the moving average, then you revisit it, right? Yeah, you miss out on a margin of it, but it still has so much upside that you shouldn't be in a rush to try to nickel and dime an opportunity. But yeah, so dude, make up your mind. One day it sells, not one day you buy. That's the part that confuses me about people. Is the job for traders not to adapt to markets, right? I think it's one of the main reasons that we do so well, right? How do you think I made $53,000 on Friday? Is it because one day I'm bullish because direction is in my favor, and no question, the next day, if the market begins to sell off, I'm going to be bearish. It's not about that I want one thing more than the other. We all know that the market long term is more bullish than it is bearish, right? That's common sense at this point. But my job as a day trader is to understand market sentiment and to understand market direction. So if I ever see anything that can cause the market to do more harm than good, then yeah, of course I'm going to be bearish. And I think that's what makes the most sense, right? One of the things that we've been talking about all week, right, in every single video, as QQQ, which is the Nasdaq ETF, as it began to retrace and went down and it was testing its support level. For all of our Learn Plan Profit members that are tuning in right now, how many times every day did I remind everyone in every single, even free YouTube video, we're testing our support at the EMA. If we break below the EMA on QQQ, be ready for a sell-off. The unfortunate part about this is that the day before Friday, Thursday, we rallied 5% for TQQQ. The market rallied like 1.7%. And it's because it rallied and gapped up that we saw such an aggressive sell-off, on Friday. And at this point, we are now trading below the EMA on QQQ. The last time that we traded below EMA, we made new lows. Do I think that we're headed for new lows? I don't really see things getting worse, right? When it comes down to inflation, when it comes down to interest rates, yeah, I expect those to continue to rise. But I think that we are in need of this pullback. I think that this pullback can retrace us back to that $300 level. And what that would look like for the correlating ETFs, this means that we can get a little bit closer to maybe that, $25, $26 price point on TQQQ. I mean, even right away, right? You could see that the Nasdaq market is down 1.54%. So right away, TQQQ, if the market were to open right now, it would be down around 4.5%. And that would be equivalent to losing about $1.50 of what it is worth right now. So that means that it would be trading at around, $28.75 to around $29. Think about that. I mean, we're halfway there, right? Let the sucker bleed. I think it's people like that do not understand that market direction can change at a moment's notice. And I think Friday is a great example of this. We've been bearish all year long. Literally, check it. Look at the date down here. From 2022, we sold off for 3 months straight. We rallied. Russia attacked Ukraine. We sold off for another 3 months. We got a second win. A lot of people called it a bear trap, a bull trap. My apologies. It looked healthy, and now we're retracing back. And now everyone is freaking out, right? Well, we didn't have a red day for about a month, right? Or a significant red day for about a month. So this doesn't surprise me. It's something that we've been talking about this entire past month, is that the more that the market prolongs a pullback or a correction, the harder it's going to drop. Because bad news will always happen, even during bull markets, right? Even during bull runs, you could see that it rallies, but the longer that it prolongs a rally, the harder it drops. It rallies, it drops, but it stays above the moving average during that bull market, right? It rallies and then it drops. Corrections are part of the market. This is why they encourage investors to not have to sell their position, but to simply dollar cost average at the lower price points to make more money when the market recovers. Now, I think this is why it's so important to understand what goes up when the market goes down, right? I have this specific watch list that I like to share with my Learn Plan Profit group. This is what you need to understand. These ETFs are not for beginners, to say the least. These ETFs are not for you if you're not the best at risk management. If you are someone that does not manage your risk, if you are someone that bag holds meme stocks, and I'm serious, right? The reason I'm saying this is because I don't want you to be in a tough position. If you are someone that is not good at risk management, do not trade these ETFs. They're just too risky. This is SQQQ, and this goes up when the Nasdaq market goes down. So when the Nasdaq market dropped 4% on Friday, this thing does 3 times that. And it did 12.2% on Friday. That's how I made $53,000 on Friday. We have SPXS. You can see the ticker symbol right here. This thing gapped up 10.1%. This one follows the S&P 500. When this gaps up, that means that the Nasdaq market is dropping. And then this is SDow. This thing gapped up 9.2% on Friday. This goes up when the Dow Jones market goes down. These are just 3 avenues that someone can take to make money when the markets are dropping. These are not investment vehicles. These are not ETFs that you want to hold for a long period of time. Because why? Markets are overall more bullish than they are bearish based off of history. So because of that, you do not want to get caught holding these. But if the market is selling off, that is why I like day trading SQQQ, because it's a good way to be able to hedge your position to make money when the market is dropping. And I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. So it's just to trade. That is correct. It is not an investment. It is not something that you want to hold for months at a time. It is just market directions in your favor. With the market selling off, that's why I choose to take a position on SQQQ. And I can't repeat this enough. If you are not the best at risk management or managing your position size, do not trade SQQQ or any of these inverse ETFs. I want you to know that I'm trying to look out for you. These could be very lucrative ways on how to make money, but it could also be a bad way to lose a lot of money, because if you don't know how to manage your risk, then again, these are something that you want to stay away from. So what about holding TQQQ? Is that good long term? Not necessarily, because again, these are triple leverage ETFs and they get rebalanced every single day. There's actually a video that we filmed with Pascal, which was one of our giveaway winners for the TechBuzz Apparel giveaway that we had. And he did a breakdown on past dependencies and why you do not want to hold these ETFs over a long period of time. If you're part of my Learn Plan Profit group, I will be making a video solely on that concept, because I know a lot of our traders trade ETFs, right? And maybe you don't have a full understanding on why you wouldn't want to hold. It's not that you can't make money on TQQQ long term, because if you look at its history, it's always gapped up, right? But the idea that it's always 3x of the Nasdaq return, that's where the discrepancy is at. So give me 1 week and I will upload a new video to Learn Plan Profit, and then you guys will all have access to it that are part of our group. So also, friendly reminder, we had a handful of you guys join us over the weekend. We are running our biggest sale for Learn Plan Profit 2.0. So again, if you want to be able to watch me trade live every day, if you want access to the A to Z video lesson library and all the updates, if you want access to our private group chat, if you want access to the HQ, it's a one-time payment, it's lifetime access, and right now it's our biggest sale that we offer. It's $150 off, and it's the second link in the description of this video if you are ready and you could watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. So is the video going to be with Pascal? It is not, no. It won't be with Pascal, but it will be with me. So LGVN. All right, let's go ahead and break that one down. So again, if you want me to break down your stock, just make sure you drop a thumbs up and you share it in the live chat. So are you going to be back on Monday since the market will be bloody? 100%. I'm so excited. I mean, I'm shorting the market right now. I have a smaller position size, but I'm definitely excited. I reduced my position size from 12 to 13,000 shares on SQQQ, and I reduced my position size to 4,000 shares. But it's like 116,000, something like that I have shorting the market right now. So I reduced it a lot, but it's still a healthy position size, right? And that's always what we try to preach, is have enough money for you to take it seriously, but not so much that it makes you an emotional mess, right? LGVN, in my opinion, is a perfect example of a stock to stay away from. This looks like a pump and dump, and every time that it shoots up, it crashes. It shoots up and it crashes. Can it shoot up? Of course, anything can happen, right? But I'm not here for a coin flip type of opportunity. I'm in the game to try to be consistent, and with this, I just do not see it happening. So because of that, I would stay away. All right, I do not do penny stocks. That is correct. Again, I have nothing against, and one thing that you'll see in from me in comparison to like other YouTubers or other investors or other traders, I will never pretend like the way that I do things are the best way or the only way. I feel like it's so arrogant when someone thinks that what they do is the only way or the highway. I know that what I do, I work well with it. I know it's maybe too risky for some people. I know it might be too conservative for other people. My goal on this channel is to encourage you to pursue whatever trading style or whatever investing style you see the most value in, whatever style you resonate the best with. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback that the way that I break things down and the way that I explain things during my live trading sessions, it's very easy to follow. And because of that, that's what I want to hear with the people that I'm working with. But I've also heard that, I don't trade risky enough plays, or some people really like to aggressively trade options. I don't trade options, but just because I don't do something doesn't mean that you shouldn't, right? I never want to be someone that holds another person back based off of my experiences or my very own opinions, right? We all tolerate risk differently. We all see value differently. And I want to embrace that. I want to encourage you to watch other people. I'm not, scared of that. My job is to provide the most value in the best way that I can. And that's what I try to do. And if it's not enough for you, then watch other people and see if you resonate better with their material. I know that with my Learn Plan Profit group and how I work with them on a daily basis, that's what I choose to do every single day. And I'm happy about it, right? Work with people that empower you to be the best version of yourself. I think that's what's most important. So let's go ahead and break down Apple. So I would also be very careful with Apple. Apple had a pretty significant red day on Friday. Apple was one of the few stocks that almost did a full recovery based off of previous all-time highs and where we actually recovered. One of the things that you have to understand is that Apple is, it has nearly a $3 trillion market cap. Apple does whatever the heck it wants to do, right? Even if the rest of the market pulls on back, all I know is that one of the main stocks that I'm dollar cost averaging into is Apple. That's my opinion. That's what I want to do. I love Apple. I love what it is that they do. I do not see them going anywhere anytime soon, and I would love to buy the dip on them. It's not a guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in the market. They don't offer the greatest return, right, percentage-wise, but in my opinion, is that it's as close to guaranteed in comparison to anything else in the market. That and Amazon. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So please do not spam. I really, if it's okay for me to ask, I really do not want to break down any penny stocks. You will not like what I have to hear about penny stocks. I don't trade them. I don't see value in them. That's the easiest way that I can put it. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer when it comes down to that. So when it comes down to Apple, I can easily see a retracement all the way back down to 160 a share. I'm not here to predict the future. Let the sucker bleed, right? Let Apple bleed. Don't be afraid to buy, but just make sure you take your position size into consideration. And that's really what I'm going to be focusing on is when Apple begins to show signs of a support. So if we begin to trade sideways or no longer begin to sell off, that would be my indication of like, hey, I can start buying into Apple, dollar cost averaging. And then once it begins to recover, I can start pouring in at a heavier rate into buying that stock. So let me know what you think about that. So Ricky, have you been looking at Tesla? Yes, it does not surprise me. And Pascal even called it out. It's very similar to the last time that Tesla did a stock split. After its stock split, last time it went from $900 and it began to sell off very aggressively, right? As of right now, we've been trading sideways for quite some time. I think as the market continues to sell off, it's only going to more negatively factor into Tesla. And if we break below the EMA line, I hope that you guys are ready for this thing to pull on back. So a lot of people would always ask me the question of like, hey, Ricky, do you think that I should buy Tesla before its stock split? Like its stock split was a reason or a valuable reason on why to invest into it. Now, if you would have asked me, hey, Ricky, do you think I should trade Tesla up to that stock split? That's different, right? There's a lot of hype. Tesla might see some big moves. That's different. But to invest in something means that you see long-term value in. And when Tesla was already trading sideways, and that sole reason that you see value in is because of its stock split, that just doesn't make sense to me. There's no fundamental value behind a stock split. It's all psychological, right? Because all it does is it makes the face, the value, the price per share smaller. So more people could potentially buy a whole share for those that are outside of the US and don't have access to fractional shares. But its market cap, nothing changes when it did that. All they really do is they just increase the amount of shares available. It's pretty much almost like diluting their shares, but not because them changing their price per share. But I would love to buy more of Tesla at a better price. I would never buy a stock. I would never invest in a stock because of a stock split. That's just silly. Investing means your intention to hold for a long period of time based off of value. That there's no value in a stock split. There's short-lived catalyst. I would trade the heck out of something, but I would definitely not invest in something solely because of that. So Tesla under 200, that would be steep. I don't know about under 200, but I can see a healthy pullback to around 255. Definitely something that I would look forward to. I would love to do it. So what are you shorting? Let me show you. I shorted the Nasdaq market by going into SQQQ, and I did that on Friday. I left myself, just so you can see, I left myself with 4,000 shares and it's $169,000 into SQQQ. So an example, and again, it doesn't have to open up this way. I think we just had my boy Umar. So congrats on your 50K, 53K day, bro. Showing us what's possible. I appreciate that, Umar. Thank you again for your time, and we'll see you at market open. So right now, the Nasdaq market, this is Nasdaq future, it's down 1.47%. So this means that if SQQQ were to, if the market were to open right now, I would be up around 4.5%. So what is that? I would be up about maybe $6,000, $6,000 or $7,000 on the day. But again, I chose to reduce my position size. I was trading SQQQ on Friday anywhere from, on the low end, 10,000 shares all the way up to over 13,000 shares. And this is, I'll leave it at this, right? So we've talked a lot about what's going on right now. What Friday really cleared up for me is, you know, $53,000 sounds like an insane amount of money. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and pretend like it's not. It's an insane amount of money. I remember looking back when I was 18 and 19, I had a really good paying job, right? I did telecommunication sales. For those that are unaware, it's like working at Verizon or T-Mobile, or any of those major cell phone providers. I was making a ton of money. I did phone sales, and I did that for about 2 years. It's actually what helped me qualify for my first house. And I was making around $55,000 to around $65,000 a year. I would save all my money. I'm huge on encouraging people to have a stable income. And I always tried to encourage people to have a job that is commission-based, right? That incentivizes you more than the hours that you work. For all those, I know we have a lot of... I know a lot of you guys, I know some of you guys working in some sales-based jobs. And I remember back in, what was it, 2014 and 2015, I was making, I would work really hard all year long, and I would make around $55,000 a year, right? One thing that I learned about trading is, we have a lot of our Learn Plan Profit members that maybe trade with about $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. And their days were significant days as well. They made just as much as I did on Friday, percentage-wise. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is here, just hear me out. The reason I'm sharing this with you is this is the beautiful thing about scaling. Just like scaling a business, when you gain experience and when you understand what you're doing over a long period of time, you know when to step on the gas. And that's simply what I did on Friday. The only difference between my $53,000 day and someone's $3,000 or $2,000 day with their smaller account is the money that is used as the vehicle to make more money. Yes, direction was in my favor. We saw the opportunity. Can everyone tolerate that type of pressure, that type of emotion, that type of risk? No. and you shouldn't be able to, right? Everyone doesn't start off by being able to tolerate being able to trade with $500,000. It doesn't work that way, right? It's like, would I be able to, the example and the analogy that I wanted to give you is something that we can all kind of agree with. And it's I hope that we've all somewhat had our first job, right? And when it's your first day on the job, you are learning every step of the process of what to do and what not to do. A year or 2 years or 5 years into that job, everything becomes second nature. And there's still challenges that present themselves, but those challenges are easier to overcome based off of past experiences and knowledge, right? You have the confidence to know that you can overcome those challenges. And that's all trading is on the psychological part. To get good enough to a point when you can trust yourself to trade with more money because you can leverage it. And that's, I think, the beautiful thing about the stock market is that the only difference if you had a 10% day on Friday from my 10% day on Friday is simply the dollar amount that we put behind that trade. No person should start off with trading big, but it should be a goal to work towards. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the stock market is that you start small, you make mistakes, but it costs you a little bit because you're trading small. And then as you gain experience and as you gain confidence and you build structure, you will scale over time to a point where even your average days surpass your best days that you're experiencing now. And I think that's what is the most inspiring. It's great to see what we've been able to build to this point, but let's be honest, we're just getting started. And I think that's the beautiful thing, right? You have nothing but time. You don't have to rush into this. Even if this is your first couple of months trading, your first year trading, embrace it. Trade with as little as you can because I want you to make as many mistakes as possible now so you learn from it. Focus on the learning part. The making money, the real making money comes later. Anytime that you hesitate, how many times? I want to see a show of hands very quickly. How many times do you guys not lock in profits because you're like, just $5 more so I hit my goal? Just $20 more or $100 more so I hit my goal? Think about it. What do you think is more important long term? The habit of not locking in profits because of this psychological number, or the habit of locking in profits at any indication of a resistance? Make sure that the habits that you implement on a daily basis promote growth and sustainability and consistency. And the reason I share that with you is we've all been on that same boat. We all make the same mistakes. And it's not that you will ever be perfect because I still make those mistakes day in and day out. The goal is to realize when you are making those mistakes and to hold yourself accountable, to understand that you are not perfect, but to learn from it and to embrace it. That's why I love trading with my Learn Plan Profit group, because trading in front of them every morning encourages me to try to be the best version of myself, to understand that I'm not perfect, but even when I do make mistakes, at least it is of value to everyone watching me. And I think that's a value and something to learn from. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. I'm sorry for that last 5-minute spiel. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow at Market Open for our live trading session. And yes, it will be exclusive to our Learn Plan Profit team. So if you guys want to join my team, friendly reminder, we are hosting our biggest sale right now. It's $150 off. And it's the second link down below. So if you've been waiting for a big discount, now is your time. You can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow at Market Open. If you have any questions before signing up, either shoot me a direct message via Instagram, that's that third link down below, or shoot me a message via Discord. And it looks like I have to change this. Give me one quick second. Looks like my camera just overheated. One second. All right. There we go. I hope that you guys could see me, but I really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. Again, if you have any questions, shoot me a direct message via Discord or via Instagram, and everything is linked in the description of this video. And if you don't see the links, refresh this video and you should be able to see them. For all of our Learn Plan Profit traders, make sure that if you're new, go to the first section of the course, and that will give you access to our Learn Plan Profit Discord chat and break down how you can get access to our daily live trading session. And again, it is all literally provided for you in the first section of the course. Hope that I earned a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.